Hey guys, welcome to another Jamaican Tales video, a Jamaican living in Germany. In this video, we're continuing with the talk that I had with my good friend Sayeed. So in this video, we changed the tone a bit and we started talking about the downsides of being a tourist and also from my perspective of living in Europe. This video, the topic of racism and discrimination came up, and we also talked a bit about, but I would say more than a bit, about the topic of weed because of the weed culture, especially that we saw when we were in Netherlands. So stick around and hear what Sayeed had to say on these topics. We've talked a lot about the good things about Europe. What would you say is the ugly side of that past week that you've been here? You do have homeless people in Europe, although the pictures don't show you that. You have several homeless people begging, all of that. Do they sell roll art here that in Europe? Based on conversations I've had with some friends in Germany, some of them don't shower as often as we, like in Jamaica where, because it's hot, so we shower in the morning, we come home from work or from school, and then we shower again before going to bed. I get that, but even in school, and you bathe and you shower once, you ought not to smell like that. It's like all of them that smell bad have that one scent. Okay. It's like a universal European stench. Never really recognize that. No man, it maybe I also have that stench. I mean, no, you don't. And some is stronger than the other. It's just, yeah. So there's been that. Yeah, the pickpocketing, it's real. I mean, when you see a sign that literally says, beware of pickpockets in a city, you would be, you don't see it on Google, but when you actually come here, you do see it. Okay. Amsterdam, for example, was dirty. Like, it's a mess. It reminded me of downtown Kingston, and in fact, downtown Kingston, Jamaica is cleaner than Amsterdam. Everywhere else, especially on the weekends. Especially on the like all these people that are partying there. You walk into the streets and it's just one big mess. That was a shock that told me like, hey, I guess back home isn't that bad. Like Jamaica. The question that every Jamaican asks. Racism, discrimination. I haven't experienced it. What? I haven't. Or at least I did not know I experienced it. I have. I don't think I've experienced discrimination. In fact, I find that a lot of the people here are friendly. More so on the eastern side of Europe as opposed to the west. Why do you think people always have this assumption, especially when it comes to Europe, that, okay, Europe, racism, discrimination is the normal thing here? Most of these European countries were colonizers. And they colonized black people, and they colonized and they participated in the slave trade, and they treated black people like lesser thans, like cattle, and you work for me and all of that. Which is why I told you, in as much as I visited the palaces in a lot of these countries where the king and queen live, I said, I'm not taking pictures of them. I don't care to memorize or just say, because in as much as, yeah, okay, I've seen it and that adds to my experience, I don't think it should be glamorized because these people built this same castle that I'm looking at because of my ancestors worked us for free and they were being enslaved. That sort of rings home to you when you actually go and you see these royal palaces and you're like, all of this was built because you enslaved my ancestors and the money that you earned, you built this vast infrastructure and it's now commercialized and I'm supposed to pay to tour it? Hell no. No. Yeah, I think it should be free for black people to tour royal palaces, although we don't care to. But it should be free because we actually pay for it. Just see. I think that's also the conflict in my mind all the time living in Europe, where it's like living on this continent and living in some of these countries that were responsible for the problems that are in some of these countries in the Caribbean and in Africa and so on. Somehow feeling like I'm a part of the problem. No, you're taking reparations. Okay. You're taking reparations. I can see, but like all of those benefits, a 6-week vacation leave, unlimited sick days, reparation. One of your observations when we went to France was you saw way more black people there. Oh, yeah. So in Germany, it was like white. And then in France, it was like black. Like, I'm not even talking my skin color black. I'm talking like black. Like way blacker than me. That also led me to go back to the history again. France colonized a lot of African territories, and so a lot of those French Africans are actually in France. They've migrated to France to make a better life for themselves and the generations go from there and there. What I also recognize about France, which is what I don't like, is that, and check it out for yourself, all the janitors that you see, all the persons that are selling on the streets, the beggars are black people. Yeah. So there's also that disparity, that socioeconomic disparity that is evident to even a tourist not knowing anything about the country. It's very evident. But yeah,
but not just in France. I think across Europe, a lot of these, these type of jobs are the immigrants that are taking over these jobs. So yeah, just like most people are familiar with that in the US, where the immigrants are the one that do these type of jobs because the Americans don't want to do it, and here it's just the same as well.
Absolutely the same. Yeah.
Looking at the weed culture back in Jamaica in comparison to what you saw in Amsterdam or in Netherlands in general, what are some of the things that stand out to you?
Well, people are smoking everywhere. Most of the stores, they're playing some Bob Marley or some Stephen Marley or Damian Marley or Junior Gong. They will play some Rasta music. The products there are heavily regulated as well. The things there are highly regulated. The THC is low. You're not getting the feel that you would get from actual, like, pure strain weed. I'm no connoisseur on marijuana.
What are the
cannabis?
After using all these terms, and somebody's like, no.
Yeah, but just saying. I never tried weed in Jamaica before. Never.
I think that's also interesting because when I tell most people, like, I've never smoked weed before or never had any of these products, they're like, but you're from Jamaica, like, how is it possible?
It's easy to stay away from it, really.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very easy to stay away.
Because it's illegal. And here,
it's decriminalized, so you can have 2 ounces on you.
Okay.
You wouldn't know that. It happened in Europe.
Okay.
No, actually, it happened before you left. It happened in 2015.
Do you think Jamaica will ever get to that point where it's said, okay, do whatever you want with it? For better yet, let me ask it this way. Why is it that countries like Netherlands or even in Czech Republic, like yesterday when I went to buy water, I bought 2 bottles of water, and then while I was paying, the guy was like, yeah, do you want to buy some weed? It was just hanging right there in a bag. Why, what's the difference? Why is it that these countries can, go that way, but then Jamaica's like, yeah.
Well, there are several factors. Europeans use it a lot as a part of the tourism. And frankly speaking, former colonialist country gets away with a lot of things.
No, definitely.
Colonized countries don't get away with. And so you find that in the stratosphere of geopolitics, it's really these hegemonic states that lead the way with these sort of progressions. And then once they kind of, allow for these things to happen, then smaller countries and former colonized countries like Jamaica can follow. Then there's the US influence on Jamaica and the Caribbean as well, where you have the guns for drugs trade and all of that. And in as much as the guns for drugs trade is more coke, heroin and all of that, it's done in such a way that it needs to be regulated. Do I think it needs to be regulated? Not as much as it's being regulated right now in Jamaica. So for example, to have a weed business, you have to go to the cannabis licensing authority, and it costs thousands of US dollars just to get that license. Okay. So automatically,
your rules are
not me at you, it's more the business people. So it becomes highly commercialized as opposed to here, the man in the shop can say, oh, you want to buy something?
Which is kind of weird. I mean, when the guy in the shop asked me, it was kind of like flashbacks to Jamaica, where it's like, like somebody's just like, yeah.
Perhaps when it's legalized in the entire United States.
Yeah, then Jamaica can say it.
Maybe just. Yeah, and to my mind, Jamaica has lost out on a lot of weed business because, for example, Canada legalized and decriminalized weed before we even thought of decriminalizing it. And Canada is not exporting weed, and their weed is not growing in such a good condition as ours.
Exactly.
Because they don't have the climate. So, I think there is that geopolitics at play, and frankly speaking, I just think we're somewhat backward with more progress in the smaller developing states. We're very backward.
And I think it's also interesting, like these countries that have legalized it and so on, the marketing for it is usually most times Jamaican marketing.
Exactly.
Whereas like, they're picking for Bob Marley or...
Again, you go into these stores, you're seeing Rasta people. You're seeing pictures of Bob Marley, you're hearing the Rasta music. So they are using brand Jamaica.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we are where we are with it, man. So there you have it, guys. Those are his thoughts on these not so nice topics about being a tourist in Europe. The next and the final video, we're gonna pretty much recap everything, talking about his experience being in Germany and what he has to share with other person that might be considering to do the same.